What is up, Rally Towel Sports family? Good evening and welcome to the show. Tonight, we are just vibing and hanging out. You got Todd and I. Obviously, we have the big fun show next week. We've got our live NFL draft podcast where all four of the boys will be reconnected on a beautiful Thursday evening with a lot of drinks, money going to charity. And obviously the wonderful vibes that you are always accustomed to. So, but Todd,
I was smart this year, dude. I was smart. I'm taking next Friday off work.
I'm still working on that. I just finally
the last 2 years have been just treachery in the office, and I want to, I want to contribute in some way, and the best way that I can contribute on the Friday after the draft is to just not be there at all. So
it's honestly not a lie. Last year, Todd got a little off the rails. And,
that was 2 years ago. 2 years ago is when it
really.
Oh yeah, because it was right before we moved out of the townhouse into this condo.
Got it.
I remember it was the last podcast I did before we moved.
2 years ago. What did we do? Was it anything crazy last year?
No, we just had a good time. Just had a good time. We talked a lot about just a slew of things, and we hung out. It was cool.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely looking forward to it, man. It's obviously not only one of our most popular shows, but one of my favorite shows of the year that we do. We honestly, it's not brief. It's not a short show.
It's a 4-hour show.
It's an absolute banger. And we are all it's just such a good, beautiful time. If you have not attended one of those shows, you have your first opportunity next week. Around 8:00. So
I think it's gonna be a kind of saucy draft too, man. It seems like that there's gonna be a lot of good talent out there.
There's gonna be a lot. There's gonna be a lot of trades. Is my mic working?
Nope. It went to your other mic you got on your ear there. But yeah, dude, I mean they're talking about somebody's trading up into the top 5 for another quarterback, and you really don't know. Like, I think New England's a big question mark on what they're going to do in this draft. Like, do they have to draft a quarterback at 3? Because I think that they have so many gaps that they're not necessarily a year away from being a playoff contender. They're 2 to 3 years away from. There you go.
Okay, we're back now. Okay,
yeah. Cool. Yeah, so I think that New England's a team that might surprise people and trade out of 3 to get some extra picks for next year. Obviously, the Chargers are in the mix of that conversation. I want to look at the draft order. The big one of late has been Minnesota trading into the top 5 for a quarterback, whether that's J.J. McCarthy or Drake May, whatever. No. That's the speculation. That's why they got Houston's first round pick. That's the working theory, is that they traded for that other first round pick so that way they could make a trade to move up within this draft. So
all right, so
be very
1 through 10, we've got Bears, Commanders, Patriots, Cardinals, Chargers, Giants, Titans, Falcons, Bears again, Jets. Yep. Bears got 2 of the top 9 picks. I could definitely see them trading back 9. Obviously, they're going Caleb Williams 1. That's not even a question mark at this point. Right. But I could definitely see them trading back 9 unless somebody egregious falls to 9 that they're absolutely in love with. But I just don't see that happening. I mean, biggest question mark for me, obviously, if the Bears would have kept Justin Fields, they'd be drafting Marvin Harrison Jr. 1. Who's got the biggest need for a wide receiver? Would it be the Patriots or the Cardinals? Maybe even the Commanders. I don't know. They all need some love.
Well, Commanders at least have some leadership and skill positions. They have Terry McLaurin, who's their second contract wide receiver. They drafted Jalen Dotson a couple of years ago. They have Brian Robinson Jr. in the backfield, so they have a little bit of offensive talent.
Thanks for the light.
I think Arizona is probably where Marvin Harrison Jr. falls. I don't see New England drafting at 3. That's just my prediction. I think they're going to try to trade. I think they're going to try to trade back. That could be where Minnesota maybe potentially climbs up into the 3rd spot to get a quarterback, and then you could see, Arizona. I mean, really, Arizona could trade back too. They have no wide receivers. I don't think. I believe the roster is maybe 2 wide receivers right now.
Cleveland Browns do not have a 1st-round pick.
Right. This is the last year with the Deshaun Watson trade of no
yeah, they got
pick.
23. The Vikings are picking from Cleveland through Houston.
Correct.
Wow, that's confusing.
Yep.
Bengals pick at 18. Steelers pick at 20.
Yep.
This 1st round is going to be interesting.
I think the big thing we're going to have to my thing I'm going to keep an eye on Thursday night is where does the run start? Right, every year there's a run of a specific position where guys get. Yeah,
it's not going to be tight ends this year like it was last year.
Nope, it's not going to be 2nd-round tight ends. We're not going to be going after that. Brock Bowers is an interesting person to kind of see where he falls because really from 10 all the way down to where the Bengals drafted 18, there's some kind of tight end need for most of those teams drafting within those slots. I mean, obviously the Jets are they need a tight end. I think Jack Conklin's there, and they have Conklin and Ruckert from Ohio State, and then you've got Jacksonville doesn't need a tight end. They have Evan Ingram, so they're not in that conversation. But you have, so Jacksonville, Buffalo are probably the only 2 in that 10 through 19 where there's not like a need for, or not Buffalo. Had a brain fart. Doesn't matter. But Bowers is one of those guys I could see falling in the 1st round.
Jets, Vikings, Broncos, Raiders, Saints, Colts, Seahawks, Jags, Bengals, Rams.
Yeah. So Saints are in need of a tight end. They don't have any money to really do anything. The Broncos don't necessarily really need a tight end. I could see the Broncos also being a team trying to trade up and get a quarterback if necessary. They have several holes to fill. I could also see them blowing it up this year and trying to get a top 3 pick for next year as well.
I mean, if you're Sean Payton, what are you looking for? Like, you're not going to find the next Drew Brees.
Right. Realistically, I think you're
not going to find it at 12.
Right. If I'm Denver, I'm trying to unload as many contracts as I can. They've already done it with Jerry Jeudy. They got rid of him. Cleveland decided to give him a contract extension. That's fine. They've gotten rid of a lot of the veteran contracts offensively and defensively. I think he just kind of let it blow up, let Jarrett Stidham do his thing, see what he can do for 18 weeks, and hopefully get a number 1 pick next year and get like Quinn Ewers or something like that, or the dude from Georgia. Like get a franchise quarterback. Don't settle for, one of these 7th-year senior quarterbacks that their shelf life in the NFL is pretty short. Yeah. So it's interesting, man. I think my bet on the run this year is going to be offensive tackles. Okay. I think once the first 2 tackles go off the board, you're going to see teams probably making some shifts to get a tackle they want. I think Cincinnati is a team that's in that conversation as well. They signed Trent Brown. Obviously, they signed Orlando Brown a couple of years ago, so they have some veterans on that anchor the offensive line. But there's a guy in Washington that can play interior offensive line and tackle. I'd like to see them draft him. Maybe he plays left guard this year, and then he moves to right tackle. Right? That's kind of what my desire would be, but. It's going to be a good draft, dude. I think it's going to be a long one, though. So I think we all need to prepare that it's going to be 12:30, 1 o'clock by the time this thing gets over because there's going to be some trades.
Yeah, for sure. And, obviously, as far as being a Steelers fan is concerned, one of our biggest gaps this year is going to be that interior offensive line. We lost Mason Cole. Yeah, that was a huge part of our offensive line last year. Obviously, we traded for him 2 years ago, I believe. Was it 2 years?
I'm not sure.
Last year,
know. I don't remember.
I don't remember, but either way, he's a very skilled center. At least in our terms, we got some good value for him throughout the time. But we had Pouncey for the longest, and we never had to worry about it. You know what I mean?
Right.
It was kind of like having your Jason Kelsey, like. Pouncey was it, and then he retired. You know, we've kind of had a gap there. I mean, Basin Cole was a nice, stopgap, but Steelers are really going to be looking interior OL receivers, and I'd probably say some defensive backs.
Yeah, I see them going either interior offensive line or cornerback, depending on how things shake out.
It just depends on what's on the board and how it goes. I mean, these drafts they can change instantly. Like if there's somebody that's best available that's not even a direct need at 20, like their Steelers are going to draft them. Like, they'll figure it out later. I think that's one of the things that makes them so great is that they're not willing to just die on the hill of what they need. They're going to take best available and just figure shit out.
Yeah, maybe other than drafting Kenny Pickett a couple years ago, but we won't. Not sure whose decision that was, but whatever.
Well, one thing I will say is that there haven't been a lot of misses with draft picks for Pittsburgh.
No, there have not.
That was a miss.
I
think they're entitled to a miss once every decade.
Sure. But I also, as a Bengals fan, I would be remiss if I didn't give you a hard time for them making an error.
Oh no, it was an absolute blunder.
I've had to sit in this chair for 33 years of them basically turning 95% of their draft picks in the first 3 rounds into starters, all pros, Bengals killers, whatever you want to call them. It's happened for such a long time. I like to see a chink in the armor every once in a while.
It's kind of like just seeing Jim Edmonds appear every other year. Fuck that guy.
Yeah, Christian Yelich is turning into that guy for me for the Reds right now.
Dude, he's a Reds killer.
He's a killer, dude.
He just hits nukes every time he plays the Reds. It's disgusting.
Well, yeah, and it's also because I can't remember the exact. He's well over 300 career batting average at Great Americans. But that's like his ideal.
Can we just get him in a fucking Reds uniform already? Like, fuck. Like, if he's gonna do that at Great American, imagine what he could do there for a season.
Right, give him 82 opportunities to play in that stadium, or 81, whatever. Yeah. No, it's crazy. He's quickly turning into a Jim Edmonds for me, where every time the Reds
play, Yadier Molina.
Yeah. Where every time the Reds play him, I'm like, God damn it, not this guy again.
Oh yeah. So the Reds got the Dodgers in town next weekend. I'll be there. I have tickets with your name on them if you guys still want to come down.
Okay.
So, just let me know.
But
yeah, man. I know we haven't really had a ton of time to do our over and unders for as far as wins go this season. What is the line for the Bengals as far as their win total this year? Do you know?
You mean the Reds?
No, I meant the Bengals. I was shifting.
Oh, you meant the Bengals. Oh, you're shifting back to football.
I was shifting back to football.
Let's see.
I don't want to talk about the Reds right now.
That's fair. It's not. I mean, it's not a great time. Riddled with injuries.
There's more exciting things to talk about than the same shit, different story. Reds being debilitated with injuries, and
so this one's about a month old. On March 26th, the DraftKings had it at 10.5.
10.5.
10.5. Yeah.
How do we feel about that?
I have no qualms with the 10.5 over under. It's the same over under that they had last year, and
obviously that was prior to Burrow getting hurt.
Right, barring Joe Burrow staying healthy, and it seems more than likely that T. Higgins is going to stay in a Bengals uniform this year. And if he could produce as he did 2 years ago, coupled with Jamar Chase, that's 11 wins is very attainable. And you got to remember that they're playing the lesser AFC schedule because they were last place in a division where nobody had a losing record. Or sorry, they were the only one with a losing record. Everybody else made the playoffs. So,
who's the AFC North play this year?
Ooh, that's a great question.
Who's the NFC division?
It's not. It has to be the East. because they just played. They played the West this year, and the year before that they played the South. Or no, was it 2? No, 2 years ago they played the North. Hold on. Rather than me just guessing, I'll tell you.
AFC North out of conference. Schedule 2024. They will play the NFC North. Is that what I'm seeing right? AFC North will play the AFC West. AFC West, NFC East, and the NFC South.
So they're playing the East. So that's
the East is the interconference.
All right. So you got Giants, Commanders, Cowboys,
and the Eagles. 2 for 4.
And then they gotta play the AFC West. So we gotta fucking play Kansas City again.
Well, yeah, I mean they're not gonna keep that game off the schedule. Like it's Pat Mahomes and Joe Burrow. That is such a storyline. Yeah. Like that is dollars.
Yeah, and then the Bengals 17th game will be the Panthers because they play the NFC South. So then the Steelers would be the Saints or the Falcons, excuse me.
God, I don't like that. The Falcons are going to be scary this year.
Falcons are tough, dude. That over-under wins had them at 10.5 as well. I don't think that's super unattainable for them.
I would have loved
to a guy like
seen that line before Kirk Cousins got signed.
Oh, dude, it had to have been with Desmond Ridder again, 7.5. Yeah, I think they win. They could 6.5 might be a little light. They won 7 games with Taylor Heineke and Desmond Ridder last year, so I'm not saying that they couldn't do it again. It'll be very interesting to see the Falcons with a new head coach, right? Raheem Morris. And that offense is going to be night and day different. This is a Sean McVay offense that's going to be run in Atlanta because Dan Robinson is a McVay plug. He's a quarterback coach / offensive coordinator for the Rams.
Yeah, now you got like because basically Arthur Smith was the head coach and OC last year.
Yeah,
like,
and he just ran the ball 35 times. Not necessarily with Bijan, but he ran the ball 35 times.
Yeah, I mean when you have Algier and Bijan, I mean it's still a pretty good combo, but like
with
all that talent that you have on the outside, like it was almost dumb for him to not take advantage of the talent. I mean, and maybe he didn't trust. I mean, if you can trust Ryan Tannehill to throw the ball, you can find somebody to trust to throw it to these young guys.
Yep, I agree. He didn't do that, which is why he is now the offensive coordinator in Pittsburgh in an entirely different system.
Yeah, I mean, I think there are people that are built to be head coaches. I think there are people that are built to be offensive coordinators. He was not built to be a head coach.
Yeah, he's just kind of a goober, man. I think he has the chip on his shoulder. Obviously, he comes from a lot of money. He's an heir to the FedEx fortune. So I think he kind of has this weird mentality that everyone's got to prove it because maybe he's just never really had to prove it. I don't know. He strikes me as very odd.
Maybe we just have to remind him that, the ground is always a consistent option, but if you want to get there faster, sometimes you got to do FedEx Air.
It's true. It's offered next day. But I don't know, man. It's the over under thing before the draft is so crazy because for Cincinnati, it's not necessarily like, oh, you got to draft this one person and this turns them into a 12-win team or anything, right? But there's still so many free agents out there, dude. There's a ton of free agents that won't get a decision made on them until June.
Yeah. Yeah, it is in no way, shape, or form settled at this point.
Yeah. Yeah. And, I think there's still some I really have some legitimate questions about Baltimore at this current point in time. I think their secondary they're going to either have to draft for their secondary or they're going to have to get some edge rushing help. Obviously, they gave the defensive tackle that they gave him a contract. I can't remember his name right now. It's a wild, long name that starts with an O.
They lost Patrick Queen, obviously.
Yeah, right. Lost Patrick Queen, and really the only addition that they've made thus far is Derrick Henry. And I'm not necessarily sold that Derrick Henry is like the Derrick Henry that used to make people shit their pants 3 years ago.
Justin Matabuke.
Yeah, Matabuke. Thank you. I thought it was an O, but it's Matabuke. I'm not necessarily, Derrick Henry doesn't. You've seen the chinks in his armor now. I think he's starting to slow down a little bit. That should happen to someone after they've carried the ball 200 times a year for probably 10 years, and having 50 to 75 passes thrown to him as well. Like
I'm never going to be anybody that's gonna talk shit about Derrick Henry. That man has been an absolute unit in the NFL for.
Look, I'm not talking shit. I'm just saying it's
what
I'm
not saying you are. I'm just saying you're right. It's like Derrick Henry. Like there's got to be a tipping point. Like he can't continue. Like you can't continue at that pace and expect the same success as your body continues to go through season after season after season of just getting absolutely just brutally hammered. Even though you're the one that's inflicting more of the pain, you're still getting some of that.
Right. So. And their offensive line is different. They've lost. I mean, they traded Moses to the Jets, and Staley's he's getting old, right? They drafted the dude Linderbaum from Iowa in the first round a couple years ago, but John Simpson signed a contract elsewhere. I think Zeitler is a free agent too. They didn't re-sign him. Their offensive line is changing, and I mean, Derrick Henry had a shit offensive line in Tennessee and struggled last year. Like, that's inevitable. A running back, I mean, they obviously can have their own success. Look at what Saquon Barkley does with the Giants. That's a fucking nightmare. But
now with the Eagles.
Yeah, right, which is quite an upgrade for him. I'm interested to see what that looks like for him. But
I would really like seeing him there with Jason Kelsey. But
right. But you and I both know that the AFC North is such a fucking gauntlet, especially to get through the first line of defense. Like to get through the front of specifically like Cleveland and Pittsburgh, and then whatever Cincinnati decides to do. Like they've obviously made some upgrades at defensive tackle. Like that's a tall task, right? And historically, Derrick Henry does not really play that great against the AFC North. So we'll see. That's all I'm leaving it at. I'm not. Derrick Henry's not. I've heard people call him, a gimmick or whatever at this point in time because of his size, but I'm not ready to write him off to that point yet. But
I'm not ready to Adrian Peterson him just yet. Kind of like how he did like a victory lap with like 8 different teams.
Right. But I just don't expect him to carry the ball 200 times anymore. I just don't. I don't think that's sustainable for him.
I expect him to get maybe 5 to 10 quality carries a game that are just absolutely brutal. He's just going to give you everything he's got for 5 to 10 carries and just beat the shit out of people. And that's all you need from him, really, realistically. If you can get the running backs that are currently in Baltimore to just stay healthy, you don't need Derrick Henry.
Yeah, historically, that's been a problem for them since the COVID year. They have not had a healthy running back for 16, 17 games in a very long time.
Why am I blanking on the guy that continues to get hurt in Baltimore?
J.K. Dobbins.
He's that kid is unbelievably talented. If he could just stay on the field,
he visited with the Chargers today. Should be an interesting landing spot for him going to play for Harbaugh.
He's in the purple and black. I'm like, man, I wish he could have stayed healthy because he was so talented.
He had some pretty special games when healthy.
Like it's just like it's one of those things where you want to beat your opponents at their best, and when they don't have that, it sucks.
Sure.
Like I want to talk shit. I want to talk shit to you when you're at full strength and we beat you. I don't want to talk shit when you lost your running game because J.K. Dobbins tore his Achilles or whatever he did.
He did.
ACL, tore his Achilles.
It's been you can give. I think
you can name any body part
injuries.
He hurt it.
Yeah, he's had some pretty significant injuries, but Yeah, dude, it's gonna next Thursday's. I mean, next weekend's gonna be sweet. I love getting the opportunity to, hang out with you guys and watch the first round of the draft. That's a tradition I hope we continue to carry for years down the road.
Oh yeah, it's yeah. We had some scheduling conflicts at work next Thursday, and I'm like, I worked almost 13 hours today because I had to fill a gap. I was like, I would have worked till close today. Don't care. I'm not doing anything after 7 o'clock next Thursday. You guys can kiss my ass, figure it out. The place can catch on fire. I don't care. I'm gonna be here. I'm gonna have multiple drinks lined up, and we're gonna be right fucking here talking into this camera and this microphone, and we're gonna be watching the NFL draft.
Yeah, I gotta decide what route I'm gonna go. I'm gonna try to stay away from the bourbon this year. That's what got me in trouble a couple of years ago.
Did,
but maybe I'll use that as a starter, and we'll go from there. We'll see.
So, went down to Nashville over the weekend. Don't know if I told you that, but my aunt, my uncle got me a bottle of Basil Hayden toast, which is one of my favorites.
It's delicious.
Because I took one down there, and I took a bottle of Bellevue to the lake, and I sat on the couch. I drank bourbon, vodka, watched the Masters, played euchre, ate a lot of food. It was a beautiful weekend.
That's good. That's a good weekend.
Absolutely beautiful weekend. You can't draw it up any better than that.
No.
But I also didn't lose on the euchre table either. Not one game. Didn't matter who my partner was. Didn't lose. So
that's pretty good.
It's also something to write home about.
Speaking Masters, Scheffler with a second Masters win, right?
Yep. So he won in 2022. Then Rahm won last year. So it was really funny. Scheffler put the jacket on Rahm, and then Rahm put the jacket back on Scheffler.
That's kind of
because Masters tradition. The winner from the previous year crowns the winner of the new year, and so Scheffler got it back from Rahm, which was hilarious. But man, did you watch any of that?
I did, yeah.
Dude, Sunday was just a beautiful day for golf, man. Scheffler was just unbelievable. Like, once he hit that shot on 9, that wedge in that landed, like, he had the nice backspin on it, and it landed maybe, like, it was drawn right at the hole and then cut it at the last second, and he tapped in for birdie. That was it. That was the nail in the coffin. Like, I was literally watching the leaderboard the whole day, and it was just like, okay, like, Victor Hovland's out, Max Homa is out, Aberg, he dropped 3 shots. Like, everybody was double bogey. It was literally just like watching a sniper just pick people off.
Yeah, because he was up 4 strokes pretty quickly, right?
It happened within a span of like 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Where it was just like one person went down, the next person went down. Like, there was like 5 people tied, and then it was just like Scheffler plus 4 strokes. I'm like, what the fuck just happened? Like, that guy's unbelievable.
Yeah, very talented.
Scheffler made Papa Bear some cash. I'm aware. Congrats.
Hey.
Yeah. So we do these like there's a guy down at I don't remember if it's Rick's or Cobble, but there's a guy that puts together like these big pools. And speaking of that, I still owe Corey $20 for the pool that I put in. I need to fucking Venmo him that. I'll do it after the show. But it was a great tournament to watch. I haven't watched much of the RBC this week. I know Spieth had a hot start, but I haven't really followed up with it. So
Masters is the only thing you'll catch me watching. That's it. I'm not invested in golf like the rest of you guys are. I like watching the Masters though because.
So you don't watch the majors?
Nah.
What about the fucking one that happened last year? What am I thinking of? The Ryder Cup.
Oh, nope.
I would almost argue that that's just as exciting as the Masters. I'm not going to say more.
Maybe I'll give it a shot. We'll see. Just not my thing.
It's basically like the Olympics for golf.
Golf's just not my thing, dude. Never been. I respect the Masters for what it is, so I always tune in to watch it, but I understand how everything works, right? Like, I'm not ignorant to the game, and I understand strategy of golf, but it's just not something I ever picked up, man.
It's fair. Yeah, that's a completely fair point. It's not for everybody. It's not
No,
for everybody. But it is the most difficult thing I have ever played in my life.
maybe that's why. Maybe I haven't wanted to put forth the effort for it. I don't know, but
Well, I mean, it's not. I don't know. There's just so much that goes into it. Like like you hit absolute nukes, whether we're playing softball, baseball, whatever. You could transition that swing into hitting a golf ball very easily. And I would
I'd
love
have
to
to.
teach you.
See, yeah, that's the thing is that I didn't. Really, what it comes down to is that I haven't picked it up naturally. I know that I would have to put some effort towards it, and I
It's also
haven't.
an expensive sport.
Right, and I haven't decided if I'm ready to commit to doing that yet. That's the main thing. I have to, because if I'm going to do it, I know how my brain works. I get
I know
fully
how you
bought
are. When
into it.
you go. Like you
Yeah,
dive in.
yeah, so I'm not quite ready to do that yet with golf. But I feel my time is nearing because I'm starting to look for some like general hobbies that don't revolve around sport, like like watching sports or like talking about it. So why not try a sport that I know I'm gonna hate at first, and then after some time and beers, I'll
You're
enjoy
still
it.
gonna hate it, but
Yeah,
you're gonna
that's
love it.
fine. Yeah, look, I just I need to get on the saddle. That's the main thing. That's in my next 2 year window
Okay.
is to
Well,
start playing golf.
I better be a part of this first
Sure,
round.
sure.
Whenever it does occur, I'm gonna be there. We're gonna play.
Let's do
That's not an argument. That's fact.
it. Let's do it.
So maybe we could figure out a way to like live stream like a rally towel foursome at a beautiful golf course.
Cool.
That would
I'm in.
that would be very very exciting. So
I'm in.
I obviously chat. We're getting into about the halfway point of this stream. If you have anything you want to talk about, questions, any sport or just general knowledge, please feel free to drop the question in the chat. Obviously, we've got the NFL draft coming up next week. That's really our main priority going into the next 7 days. We're definitely looking forward to it. As we've said before, it's one of our most exciting shows that we do year in and year out. We're going to be raising money for charity. We haven't figured out what exactly we're going to be doing yet. Usually includes, shotgunning beers for dollars, and
Yep.
I'm sure somebody's shirt will come off at some point because we'll all be hammered.
Boy,
But
I hope so.
we'll definitely get there. But if I had to ask you to pick one team who's going to have the best draft this year,
Oh shit.
who do you think it's going to be? And if you haven't done the homework to answer that question, just be honest with me and say you don't know. But
Oh my god, that's such a hard dude. I don't know if I can give you like a real legitimate answer. Like I have everything that happens in the draft all depends on how like the first 5 to 7 picks go. Because once you get to
it
like
really
pick
does
8 or
dictate the
9,
entire life of the draft.
yeah, dude. And there's not real and there's nobody besides Minnesota with 2 first round picks, and obviously they're talking about trading that other one away.
I mean, the Bears have
trade
2
it for a
first rounders.
Or yeah, sorry, yeah, that's right. The Bears have the Panthers picked up at number 1.
Minnesota's got what is that?
11 and 23.
Correct.
Because Houston gave Arizona. Oh, does Arizona have 2 first round picks?
Arizona's got 27
and 4. Yeah, so they have. So there's 3 teams with 2 first.
3 teams with 2 first round picks.
Because they got Houston's from last year when they traded up to get Will Anderson, which I'm sure when Arizona made that trade, they probably thought, yeah, okay, we're gonna have 2 top 10 picks. Didn't think that Houston was gonna win 10 games and win the AFC South and make a run. But I don't know. Man. I think if I'm gonna gauge who's had the best free agency thus far, I mean the Texans are certainly in that conversation.
What do you think about Stephon Diggs to Houston?
It doesn't do anything for me.
No, that's kind of where I'm at. Like, do you think that's a good move for them?
There's literally no risk to it for them, dude. That's the thing. Like Buffalo ate most of the year salary, after this year, he's a free agent. This is basically a 1-year prove-it deal where they have to pay him a few $1 million. So
they
rather
can cut
than
him off
going,
at any point.
yep. So if he sucks, then he just gets the ball less.
Or if he's
right?
not a team player, they can just cut him.
Yeah. I think it's realistically, I think it's for what Houston got in return and what they had to give up. I think it's a fine trade for the Texans as an organization. I think Diggs is at a point now in his career where if he can't keep his fucking mouth shut and put, consistent points up on the, consistent stats up on the board, then he's not talked about. Look at his production in the second half of the year, dude. Completely tanked. And some people attest it to, obviously Ken Dorsey gets fired, Joe Brady takes over, and Joe Brady doesn't really necessarily center it around getting it to the best target. It's basically get through, boom, 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 get through your reads fast, get the ball out.
Sure.
But I think he's just toxic for a locker room. I think that's the main thing for him that I get is that by the time he had left Minnesota, he had basically told Minnesota, get me the fuck out of here, or I'm gonna raise hell. And now he gets to Buffalo and he's posting on social media. He's got family posting on social media. It's just a toxic guy for a locker room, dude. And I think that where the Texans are at, because this is a young organization looking at coaching wise, obviously looking at CJ Stroud. This is year 2 for both of them. They're trying to build that foundation. And I think this is just Houston going, all right, we're giving you a proven target. Like somebody goes down, you at least have a fail safe here, right? Because don't forget the Texans also picked up Joe Mixon to be their running back. Like that's a pretty good deal for them.
Great move for Mixon, man. His speech and his message to Cincinnati was like
it was beautiful.
It was beautiful, man. It was like that's a guy that wanted to stay here for his career, and he did a lot for the city, and Cincinnati took a chance on him when he wasn't in the greatest shape coming out of college, and they basically helped him turn his life around, and and now he's he had to move on, and it was just time for him to leave Cincinnati. And I mean, granted, that's just life. It's also business, but
that's business. That's exactly what that was. That was business because realistically, it just came down to Cincinnati didn't necessarily want to have to pay him what they were going to have to pay him this year, and Houston was willing to do it. They needed it. They need a true running back, and
they really do.
They got it. Yeah. So
I mean, quite frankly, he went from a situation where he wasn't needed as much as he used to be to a situation where he was needed greatly, and everybody benefited.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I guess to go back to the draft question, I think I have to see. I have to see it like the first round for some of like my bubble teams, right? Because I'm not really thinking about anybody in the top 10, because maybe minus Atlanta, because I don't think anybody in the top 10 is going to turn around and have a 10 or 11 win season. Like maybe the Jets at 10, right? Because they're going to have Aaron Rodgers. I think that's an interesting pick at 10 where they go, because they've brought in some veteran offensive linemen to try to make sure that he's protected this year and they don't lose him 4 plays into the season. But you got to build some depth behind that.
For those that don't know, Nick and Susan, they had their baby. So Todd is officially an uncle.
Yeah, it's a gotcha uncle. I got 14 nieces and nephews that I've
inherited.
Fortunately inherited. Being married to Mary. So no, this is the
official bloodline nephew.
Yeah.
So congrats to you and Susan. I hope everybody's doing well down there in good old Louisville. For those of you that don't know what I said, that was Louisville.
I know we were going to go down. We were going to go down this weekend, and unfortunately, Declan's got a little cold, allergies. But those first few weeks
I feel like all the kiddos are getting sick this week.
It's the time of the year, dude.
It's everywhere, man. Like
time of the
year. I had one of my guys just text me and say, "Hey, both my kids have strep, and I'm not feeling great." And I'm like, "Well, fucking suck it up, dude." Like. I don't care how sick you are. You got to be at this meeting tomorrow. So thanks, guys. We're all good here in the Elville. Hell yeah.
No, it's cool, man. Super happy for him. But
Heck
yeah,
yeah.
dude, it's gonna be interesting to see how these top 10 shake out, man. It's gonna be a long. I'm telling you, you better
First
pace
round's
yourself.
going to be arduous. It's going to
Yeah.
be there's going to be a lot of alcohol consumed. We might set a record for the first round of alcohol consumption.
It's just going to be lots of trades. I predict a lot of trades.
Okay. I'm going to give you a line. Over under 4.5 trades. First round.
Ooh. I'm going to say under. I think it's 4 is the number that I have in my head.
Okay, so then 4.5 is a good line.
Yeah, 4 is the number that I have in my head. I think we'll see at least 2 in the top 10, and then I think we're going to be surprised by a team in like 15 to 22 that tries to move up for somebody.
Should I change the line to 3.5?
I'll just take the over. I already told you my number. I've already shown all of my cards, so you can make the line whatever you wanted to. It's
okay. I might readjust this line going into next Thursday, but we'll see. Oh, hold on. There he is.
Whoa. Got a little sideways there.
Yeah, you just clicked off.
I didn't do anything.
Okay, I forgive you.
Wasn't me. I don't know what that was, but all right. So I'm gonna bring it up because I think I just got to talk about it.
Yeah, let's hit it.
John Calipari gone at Arkansas.
I forgot we hadn't talked about this yet.
Haven't talked about it. Have not talked about it yet.
And chat, this is all my fault because we didn't go on last week. I had some shit going on. Yeah, we haven't talked about this. John Calipari is now the head coach of the Arizona Razorbacks. Arkansas. Sorry. Same. It's an A. Same difference.
Yeah.
SEC school. Todd, take it away.
I'm happy to see him go. Honestly,
I've
how
long have I been talking about this? How long have I talking about he needs to get the fuck out of UK?
At least the last 5 years. And I agreed with you after like 3 years ago. 3 years ago, losing. I mean, like I was at the point too. I was like, all right, well, we're just. It's the definition of insanity.
Just kicking tires.
Right? Yeah. Look, I'm in terms of like what he's done, a couple national championships. I'm super thankful for that he was able to do that. I'm just setting this out as a forewarning to any Kentucky fan. It's going to suck for a couple of years. The program as a whole is set back because of lack of execution in the transfer portal. That's the way that teams win national championships now. College basketball has kind of made this shift in the last, let's call it 4 years, where teams that make, because ultimately for college basketball, the objective is national championships, right? I don't care that Kentucky's had over 100 guys drafted in the last 15 years. I don't care about that. As a Kentucky basketball fan, that means almost nothing to me in the grand scheme of things. That means I got to see 100 guys that were talented play, wear the Kentucky blue, which is cool. But I, as a fan of that school for that specific sport, I expect national championships, right? That's my ceiling that I have for them every single year. And
yeah, I mean, you have to have that level. I mean, it's kind of like I obviously don't want to compare it, but it's like being a Yankees fan. It's like if you're not, it's championship or nothing. Like
right. Same thing with Ohio State.
It's like Ohio State, absolutely.
Yeah.
Or like Kansas basketball, like
correct.
Or UCLA. It's like it's championship, nothing.
Yeah.
Like,
look, I understand that I'm a part of a fan base that gets lumped into, the fan base that I dislike the most. I think that's probably plays into my dislike for them. I understand that. That. I'm very self-aware. But I think realistically, we saw kind of what happened to Kentucky after Tubby Smith left and Billy Gillispie came in. He got ran out pretty quickly. And John Calipari came in with this. Oh, he's just gone. Billy Gillispie just got fired. He never. I don't know where he coached after that. I didn't really keep track of. He came from West Virginia, try to bring in some of that West Virginia hospitality, have a couple 500-ish seasons. You don't get to stick around. That's just not how things work, right? It's the winningest, other than you. It's the second winningest basketball program in college basketball for men's college basketball. Winning championships are the expectation, but I think with hiring what they did, and I'm gonna go down a quick rabbit hole here, and then I'll come back out. Hiring Mark Pope is hiring someone that the fan base can connect to. He's a Kentucky guy. He won a national championship with Kentucky, right?
As a player?
As a player in the
mid-90s.
And that's important. I think Kentucky's had what at one point in time was the pinnacle of a college basketball coach in John Calipari, right? For several years, they had a coach that was considered the cream of the crop, top 3, top 5, wherever you want to list them. And it's not easy anymore. It's not just the snap of the finger like, oh, Dan Hurley wants to come coach at Kentucky. No, he's just won 2 national championships. You can probably throw almost any amount of money at him and he's going to say no, right? Like they offered him $11 million a year to coach men's college basketball. That's insane. He said no. Scott Drew at Baylor got offered $9.5 million a year for 6 years or for 4 years and said no. That's the 2 best guys those are the only 2 guys that I would have wanted if I'm going to say, hey, I'm going to pick 2 guys that I want to put in a bucket to come coach at Kentucky. That's my 2, right? My third one being Billy Donovan. He's not going to leave the Bulls. And you bring in a former Kentucky guy. You bring in a guy that's had some winning seasons in BYU, and it's gonna be a softer blow to be like, oh, Mark Pope, this is his first opportunity coaching Power 5, coaching in the SEC. It's gonna take a couple years, and I think that's an easier blow to take when you have a guy that has never coached at this level to be able to say that. So, I'm interested to see what they do in the next 45 to 90 days in the transfer portal because some of the top guys are starting to pick schools, and I haven't seen anybody in the blue yet.
Sure. Josh coming with a great question here. How many recruits have committed? I would also add decommitted to and from Kentucky since Calipari left.
3 have decommitted. So you've had 3. So three seniors, incoming freshmen have decommitted, and right now there's only 2 people from the roster last year that are still on Kentucky's basketball roster.
So
sorry, no, one, because Reed Shepherd just declared for the draft today. So one scholarship athlete left.
So, and here's my big thing with, I think we're going to see a monumental shift in coaching in the college arena. You've already seen Saban retire because his bread and butter was recruiting and selling the dream. And with the transfer portal, Nick Saban's irrelevant. John Calipari is irrelevant because these guys come in and say, hey, you come play for me, you're going to the NFL. And then now you've got talented people going wherever, making not hundreds, but millions of dollars to play college sports. It's more lucrative to be a college athlete today than it has ever been.
Sure. And NIL has completely changed the way that college sports do things.
And
absolutely.
I think we were all proponents of the NIL, which for those that don't know what it stands for, name, image, likeness. I think it was a great thing for college sports, but I think the transfer portal is the Achilles heel of this entire process. I think if you're going to commit to a school and you have the ability to earn money, you can't skip and hop. Like you've got to pick a school and you're there. But
they've at least limited it now, right? Like as an undergrad student, you can only
cut it back, but like to start, it was like crazy. Like you could transfer like 3, 4,
every
5
year.
times, like every year.
Yeah,
and
UC's quarterback.
I would say you get 2, or maybe even just 1.
Yeah, you get 2 now. You get 2 now. So you get 2. One is an undergrad, one is a graduate transfer.
Okay, so you can play 4 years at one school and then you can graduate transfer. Or no, I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Well,
You can transfer as an undergrad and then transfer
yeah.
as a. So technically, you can play for 3 schools.
Well, in theory, if you commit to a school and decommit, then you go somewhere else. So you could play. So if I'm an incoming freshman and I go to Kentucky and I don't like it, I can go into the transfer portal and go to Michigan State, right? If I try to transfer again, I lose a year of eligibility just like it was previously.
Okay, so instead of having
If you try to
5
transfer
years, you
more,
get 4.
well, right, you would only get 4 or 6. You would get 5 instead of 6.
But then
Because technically it's 6
if you
years.
wanted to have like the additional 2, you'd have to be a graduate student, and
Correct.
then you would get the ability to transfer again.
Correct.
Okay.
Well, a graduate transfer, that's you get 1 year and that's it.
Okay.
All the COVID year is done. I believe this. Everyone's out, or whoever played. Maybe it is this upcoming season. I can't remember now. Almost all the COVID guys are gone. I think this is the last year of all the COVID shit. Where
Well, yeah,
people are
it's
playing.
gonna be
7 or 8
2024. It's 4 years, so this has to be the last year.
Yeah, because I think 20 guys from that if were freshmen in 2018, this will be the last year of all the COVID shit. So that's over. After this year, it's over. That also played a big part in how a lot of things transpired because the COVID year, everybody just got to keep a year of eligibility. But
yeah,
no, I think it's a valid point because college sports used to be, well, legally you weren't earning money, right? Everybody knows these guys were getting a bag somewhere, somehow along the way.
Yeah, I mean, you had athletes making $200,000-$300,000 a year, like under the table.
Sure, but now it's legal,
but
right?
Now it's legal. I think they can make more.
Right. Yeah, some of them. Yeah, in football, college football specifically. I don't think basketball is quite as lucrative because it doesn't have quite the sparkle that college football has in terms of being able to put NIL deals together. But you are right.
General is just more of a. It's a more gravitating sport.
Well, it's a higher revenue sport too. You make more money selling 85,000, 110,000 tickets.
You can't pack 85,000 fans in an arena to watch a basketball game, but you can put them in a bowl and watch a football game. That's for goddamn sure.
Yeah. So like Oscar Sheboy is like one of the best examples I could think of for the transfer portal. Right, goes to West Virginia, plays for 5 years at West Virginia, gets 1 year of eligibility, or plays for Kentucky, right, he plays 4 years for West Virginia, then he gets 2 years at Kentucky. He made more money playing at Kentucky for 2 years than he did bouncing back and forth between the fucking Fort Wayne Ants or whatever they're called and the Pacers, back and forth between the G League and the NBA. He made more money last year at Kentucky. And the thing is, you look at like the schools that made it to the Final Four, like NC State, that was a school of nothing but guys that were getting their last year of college basketball or close to their last year. Graduate students, transfer portal guys. I think there was one guy in their starting roster that was from NC State, right? Alabama. I think one guy started at Alabama that played with Alabama in the Final Four.
Yeah.
That is how you win because college basketball is at a point now where yes, if you put a team together that scores 90 points a game, that's fine. But you have to have there has to be some juice built within the roster, and
there has to be some cohesion.
Yeah, and Kentucky hasn't had that for I don't know. I mean, what years we're in
Kentucky has notoriously been a one and done school that's pumping out NBA talent. Which don't get me wrong, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that.
Nope.
Like they've put out some of the best talent that's walked into the NBA in the last decade. And there's not anybody that's going to sit here and argue with it. Like, Devin Booker, Anthony Davis, Rondo. Like, there's
Carl Anthony Towns, DeMarcus Cousins. Yeah, I mean, there's
you could literally rattle off 30, 40 dudes like that.
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is one of the best players in the NBA right now, and he barely.
There's literally 30, 40 guys that you could rip off that have had great NBA careers over the last 10 years.
Yeah,
and they have all come from Kentucky. Like John Calipari is. I will give him credit when credit is due. He literally he preaches exactly what happens. He's like, you come here, you're going to play for a year, you're going to go to the NBA, and you're going to make millions. And he's delivered on most of the people that have come through his program. So, you can't knock him for that. Where you can knock him is his ability to build a team that is going to just absolutely dominate college basketball. Because he had 2 championships in 10, 15 years, however long it was.
15
years. So, yeah, I mean, if I'm a college coach, like I want to be UConn. I want to be the guys that 3 years ago could say, "Hey, just watch the fuck out."
Yeah, Dan Hurley's one of the smartest guys ever.
And then just absolutely run through everybody in the tournament this year, even Purdue, who had the back-to-back Naismith Player of the Year, and they just wiped the floor with them. Like it wasn't even close.
Sorry, he had one. I keep saying 2. He had one. I tried to talk the year they played Wisconsin in the national championship into existence, and they'll never win that game. I don't know why
Who's that?
I do that to myself. Kentucky. They only won one national championship with Calipari. It was 2012.
It was one. Okay.
Yeah. I'm trying to. I thought,
but
maybe I
but
could
yeah, either way,
just...
like Dan Hurley is the guy you want to be in college basketball. Like that's the guy you want running your program. He's like, hey, just look out, just give us some time, and we'll be there.
There's plenty of guys like that. I think Shaka Smart's a great coach in his own right. Doug McDermott or Craig McDermott's a great coach in his own right. Like there's Nate Oates at Alabama is a great coach, right? Like
Alabama made a good run this year too.
That was a very talented roster. He's a very, very good coach. So I
think coaching is pretty underrated in today's world.
Like, well, it's much more valuable in college basketball than it is in the NBA.
Correct. But that's kind of what I was getting at.
Yeah.
Like it takes a special kind of human to get these kids who continually get uplifted and ego boosted to take a step back and have some humility and play together and be selfless and just play for your team and not for yourself.
Sure.
Which will ultimately at the end of the day make you look better.
Sure. I watched the really Horizon League champions beat Kentucky. Like I watched that happen. I watched John Calipari get outcoached by a guy that's been coaching college basketball for, I think he had been at Oakland University for 36 years or something crazy.
Well, that's the thing. It's like if there's one sport I would ever pick to coach, it would be basketball, and it's because basketball is a selfless sport. There's 5 people on the floor. You cannot be out there on the floor, and you can't be the guy that's like, look, dude, like I dropped 30, I had 10 assists, and I had 15 rebounds. You guys didn't do shit. Like you can't have that guy on your team.
Nope.
Like you have to have the people that are like, hey, like I didn't fucking light up the stat sheet, but we won because I was able to deliver on this pick, which allowed X to get open for A to throw the pass and hit the shot. Like
right.
It's all those unseen stats that like you can't focus on that in basketball. Like you have to like literally be there for the team. Like it doesn't matter. Like you could be the guy in one game, but you can't be the guy every game. Like that's just not how it rolls out. Like basketball is one of those unique sports where it's like you're not going to be the guy every night unless you're fucking LeBron or Carmelo or one of those just special people that are unguardable.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? But like,
yeah,
I don't know. Like maybe that's just a weird tangent, but it's just basketball is a beautiful sport. I love watching it. I love seeing how it all plays out because it's different every night. And it's basketball and baseball, I think, are kind of the same, where it's like there's a different guy that steps up every day, and you have to have a complete team to put together a season. And a lot of that is coaching and making sure you have the right people in the right places at the right time. And it's going to be different every night. There's always challenges and variables and different things happening. And Yeah, I don't know where I was going with that, but
I pick up what you're throwing down.
I appreciate that.
I pick up what you're throwing down. But yeah, dude, Charlie, I agree. Mark Pope, he is a good guy. He's legitimately a good dude, and I just don't want people to get their hopes up that this is going to be like a 28 win season and they're going to win the SEC and things are going to be right back to where they were, because I mean, they got a lot of scholarships to fill. A lot. I think they
got a lot of people transferring out.
Yeah, dude. A lot of people going to the NBA too. They got 5 guys potentially, or 4 guys potentially going to the NBA. A 5th one is exploring his options of both, not hiring an agent, but trying to, seeing how things are going to shape out for him. And I mean, when you have one scholarship athlete left from your roster last year, that's a thing, right? That's a real thing. Like, that's a problem. You get 15 of them.
So walk me down this path, Todd. So in my mind, I believe it's changed over the last couple of years. Like, can you declare for the draft but also come back? Like, is that a thing? Is that a thing?
As long as you don't hire an agent.
Okay, so as long as you do not hire representation, you can declare for the draft, and if you don't like where you went, you can come back.
Yeah.
So even if you get drafted, you can come back to college.
Let me verify. I'm like 97.
I'm just asking because I don't know. Like, I'm not very well versed in the college space. For those of you that have watched the show for a while, college is not really my forte. Even though I do participate in, March Madness, it's not my bread and butter. We'll just put it that way.
Yeah.
I was close in a bracket at work, though. I had a pretty good bracket at work. I think I placed like 4th, which wasn't bad. I didn't win, but it might have been the closest.
Sorry, I misunderstood you. I'm overthinking this thing. If they're drafted,
it's over.
It's done. Yes.
Okay.
But if they're not drafted, and they can pull themselves out like up to a week before the draft.
Okay, so like, because NBA draft, it's only 2 rounds.
Correct.
And there's 30 teams, so 60.
Which will be 2 days now, by the way.
Yeah, so
it's 2 days this year.
There's 30 NBA teams, right? So 60 picks total.
Yeah.
Over a 2-day period. So, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, if you really think about it, the NBA draft is the least inclusive draft of them all. The NFL has 7 rounds. The MLB's got what, 10 rounds? 12 rounds?
Major League
20 rounds?
Like
I don't know.
30 rounds. Yeah, it's like 30 rounds.
It's insanity. It's the NBA is probably the most exclusive of the professional sports. I don't follow hockey too terribly much, but I would say that the NBA probably has less draft picks than any other sport out there. So if you're getting drafted to the NBA, you are an elite member of society at that point.
The NHL has 7.
7 rounds.
Yeah, same as football. 7.
Good Lord. Yeah. So the NBA is the most exclusive professional sports community that has existed.
Yeah, smallest amount of roster spots too. So you got to take that into consideration.
What is 12 a team? Is it 12? 12? Is it 10?
16.
Oh, so 16 across 30 teams. So that's 300. 330 times 6 is 180. So 480 total roster spots.
Yeah, and you have two-way spots within that too. So.
And then you got 2-way spots for the G League. So yeah, so realistically, that number is probably under 700 a year, give or take.
Probably so.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty exclusive. Like, it's one of the most skilled sports that you can play. Obviously the hardest to get into, and with the rate that UK was pumping out NBA product, it was a good shot. It was a good shot, before the transfer portal to go to UK and get a shot.
Yeah.
Go get that contract.
Yep.
So
yeah.
But with the NIL, that whole thing is gone.
Yep.
It's gone. It's completely gone. It doesn't matter where you go now. Like you can be a top prospect and go to, lower tiered school and you still have the same opportunities you would if you went to UK. So
yeah, look at
it's exactly why Nick Saban retired from the college football space.
Yeah.
It's the exact same reason. Like Calipari just went to a different spot, but from a football perspective, it's basically like, hey, like I lost my entire selling point of you coming to Alabama. Why would I even continue to play the game?
Yeah. I think we're almost in the position too with college sports where we're seeing the shift in just general who's coaching who. There's not.
Coach doesn't matter anymore.
Izzo might be the last of that like generation of coaches left in college basketball at top programs. I think.
I do love Tom Izzo
because you got to think like Roy Williams is retired and
Krzyzewski
is retired. Boeheim's retired.
Kansas doesn't have Bill Self anymore.
Yeah, he's still there.
Is he still there?
Oh yeah. But he's young. I mean, he's in his 50s. He hasn't been coaching for Kansas for forever. I mean, he came from Illinois, but there's not too many of these older coaches left. So I think we're just seeing the natural shift of coaching. That's where we're at now. And these younger coaches that had to grind it out a little bit differently or more adaptable to the way things are.
Yeah.
Dan Hurley had to coach at Buffalo for a few years to get to Connecticut and is a back-to-back national champion. And he knew it was coming. He had a 5-year plan and he's executed it pretty much flawlessly to this point.
Yeah, it's perfection.
Yeah.
It wasn't even close. Like they beat the number 1 team in the country by what, 15 points?
Oh yeah. Yeah, that was not the national championship game was not great. Purdue was never in the driver's seat. UConn just never. I mean, UConn didn't give. I think
Purdue played them the best out of any team. Played them in the tournament.
Right. Well, also no one had a lead on UConn for more than 6 minutes. Like UConn did not have a lead for 6 minutes of all of the games that they played in March Madness. That's ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah, it was kind of insane to just watch the post, like the mid-game update from Dan Hurley where he's like, yeah, I'm not excited. It's like, but coach, you're up 25 points. Yeah, like we didn't execute in the first half. Like, we should be up 40.
Yeah, Corey was right, dude.
It was like, holy shit. Like you're like Corey sitting there, you're watching that interview and you're like, how are you not happy? And he's like, dude, we should be absolutely destroying these people. We're not. And they're like, dude, you're up 20. I was like, nope, I'm not happy, not satisfied. We didn't execute. I was like, damn. Like that's a guy that you want to fucking just run through a wall for.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
Oh man. Chat. Obviously we're a little over an hour into this. If you guys have anything you want to discuss here in the next 15 minutes, please let us know. If not, we're some old men. We're probably going to be hopping off here soon, but not briefly. So Todd, how's life? What's new?
It's good, man. Just hanging out. It's been doing a lot. It's getting nice out. Spending a lot of time outside with Declan. It's the coordination level is to the point now where we can do some things outside and it's not a lot of fumbling and bumbling.
Is he still using that baseball toy that I got him?
He does use it, yes. Yeah. Yep.
I got him a set of golf clubs for Christmas and then the baseball toy. I was like, he's got to use one of them.
Yeah.
I was hoping, I was praying.
Yeah. He's definitely starting getting into ball sports for sure. Like he kicks a soccer ball around pretty frequently. We'll do the baseball.
You think he's gonna take after Mary and become a soccer player?
I don't care what he does. I'm just happy that he likes to.
I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying, like
maybe I don't know.
Soccer players are some of the richest people on the planet. So
It's kind of the foundational sport for coordination. So we're gonna
It
try to
really
get him
is.
into it in the fall, get him in a little YMCA league or whatever. So let him run
Hell
around
yeah.
with kids for 20 minutes and cry. And it's been an interesting month, dude. He's like pretty much knock on wood, he's like 99.8% potty trained. So that's been pretty cool.
Heck yeah.
It's pretty not changing shit diapers is pretty rad. I mean, I got to wipe his ass, but whatever. I'll take that trade off.
Yeah. I mean, at least you're not having to take the poop up the back. You know what I
Oh
mean?
yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. But it's good, man. I will say I have not been executing my diet very well as of late.
It's fair.
Once Easter came around, and boy, the rails just came right off. I mean, I really haven't missed any lifts. I'm still been lifting like 4 or 5 days a week, but dude, I've been eating like shit. And it's amazing. Like I guess because I try pretty hard to put the right things into my body, and like these last 3 weeks, like there's times where I wake up at like 3 in the morning and I'm like, oh God, what am I like? Why do I have so much indigestion? I'm like, oh yeah, because I just ate almost an entire Jets pizza to myself.
So I do want to let you know what's going to be transpiring over the next couple days here in the house. I did make a request for Saturday, which I will be turning a young 33.
That's true.
Papa Bear is, as he does every year, is going to be making his homemade ice cream cake.
That's nice.
And that ice cream cake is going to include crushed Butterfinger, M&M's, fudge, and Oreos. And I'm going to absolutely fucking destroy it.
I was going to say, you're going to hammer that thing. You should.
Absolutely going to go hard. Like, he was like, he asked me the other day, he was like, hey, he's like, do you want an ice cream cake this year? I'm like, does a bear shit in the woods?
Yeah.
Like,
of course you do.
Like, I don't know how many of these ice cream cakes that I'm gonna get to enjoy in my life, but I swear to God, every year I'm never gonna say no to that. Like, I don't care what kind of diet I'm on or if I'm trying to lose weight, I don't give a shit. I'm gonna fucking absolutely destroy that ice cream cake. So very, very much looking forward to that this weekend.
Yeah, it's gonna be nice.
Yeah, it's gonna be incredible. So can you walk me through the meatloaf in the air fryer and just kind of tell me how that was?
Oh yeah, dude. So the first round was baking it in the oven, and I mean, it's a dense monstrosity.
Yes.
So
I still need Mary to come up with a better name than just
loaf pan. I don't remember what she called it, but so what I did was I got to like the last half. So I cut little spots into the top of it, right? Like kind of like some pathway for, the convectioning air to run through. Threw it in the air fryer for like 375 for like 15 minutes. And it was good, dude. It put a nice little like crunch over the top, which was nice.
Hell yeah.
And it also, but the main thing is you got to be able to cook that fucker all the way through. And it's massive, right? Like, and there's so much fucking cheese in this thing that it doesn't cook
it's so much cheese.
You can't cook the beef. Like the beef stays raw. And that's why I kept saying like, it's not done because there's no way it got through this block of cheese through the center. Like,
yeah. I mean,
air fryers.
I have definitely tried my fair share of like cooking those things in the oven for like an hour and a half, and it's just like, fuck. Like,
I have a strategy for next time it comes around. I have a strategy that I think that'll work, but that requires me getting it out of the pan, and I got to figure out how I'm going to make it stay in its shape.
That's fair. So it doesn't necessarily have to stay in the shape in order for you to consume it.
Yeah, it's not meatloaf if it's not in the pan, though, dude. That's kind of how I see it. Okay. Then I got to think of something else. But we did make some of it into like sliders. That was pretty fucking good. It was pretty good. Had a thing of rolls left from Easter and just slapped them things down.
Yeah, just a little.
Yeah, it was nice. It was nice.
Hell yeah.
But I do need to. I got. That's one of my things I'm going to do this week, and I got to put together like a decent grocery list where I'm not. I mean, I told Mary today, I was like, I've eaten so much red meat in the last like week that I was sitting at my desk and I feel like I could feel the blood move, like going through my, like moving through my heart. I don't know if that's like a big concern, but I was sitting there and I was like, God, I feel like shit. Why do I feel like shit? And I'm like, oh yeah, because I've eaten nothing but like, I mean, it's ground sirloin, so it's not like bad, but bacon cheeseburgers and meatloaf. And then I also baked a brisket. Pretty fucking good. Pretty proud of myself for that one.
Get a nice bark on it.
Yeah, and I've eaten that for I ate at least a pound and a half of brisket in the last 2 days. Probably 2 pounds.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Made it into Reuben's, by the way.
See, the thing with Reuben's for me is the sauerkraut. I'm not a big sauerkraut guy.
Oh, dude, I hammered a whole jar of it in 2 days. It's been a real treat.
I just can't get on board with it. It's anybody who likes it, like I'm not going to knock it, but like
it's I think it's something you either grow up and you like it or you don't. I don't think it's an acquired taste. I really don't, because unless you grew up eating it,
I can't get over the smell.
See, I opened the jar yesterday and Mary was like, "Oh God," and I was like, "I don't even know. I don't smell it." And maybe it's just because I'm so acclimated to it because I grew up with it.
Mary, I'm right there with you. Like,
yeah,
it smells I don't know how you kiss that man after he eats.
Oh, dude, it was covered up with the fucking jar of Thousand Island dressing that I ate with.
Well, good. Tony, thank you for the birthday wishes, but I don't know if like sauerkraut's a thing in the Freedy household, but
I cannot recall a time where I've had sauerkraut at Jim and Kathy's.
Yeah, I've been over there a number of times, and it's never been a staple.
See, but the thing, so like growing, obviously my grandparents are Romanian, and they cooked German food and stuff. Like when I was 7, I was eating Reuben's for lunch, right? Like my grandma was making me homemade Reuben's. So I've had it my whole life. So it's
weird because like my mom she makes some really good homemade Reuben's on like that shortbread. And it's just never been a thing that I've ever gravitated towards. I don't know.
Like it is my go-to sandwich at a restaurant. If I don't know what I'm going to get and I see it on a menu,
you're just like, fuck it, let's ride.
That's my fail safe. Yeah, because I know for a fact that it's almost impossible
for it to be bad.
Yeah, because all you have to do if I take a bite and it's too dry, just go, hey, can I get more Thousand Island? And I can just dip it. I'm good. Because the taste of that will supersede anything.
Override. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But that's my go-to Penn Station sandwich. I get it I always say I'm going to walk in and get something else. I don't think I've gotten anything different from that in the last 10 years.
So can I say that I absolutely welcomed one of my employees today to the Jersey Mike's number 56, Big Kahuna Philly cheesesteak today.
It's good.
It was his day off. We need some help. And I said, hey, you come in, I'll buy you lunch, whatever you want. And he was like, yeah, dude, I'll come in. No worries. I'm like, great. So it gets to that point in the day where I'm like, hey, I'm going to run out and grab some food. Josh, thanks for liking the video. Like, hey, what do you want? And he's like, you could, like, Jordan called you the other day and asked you, like, what you got from Jersey Mike's. Like, whatever you got, just order me that. And I was like, say less. So, no onion, extra meat, extra cheese, add the 99 sauce, Cool Ranch Doritos, call it a day. It's basically a Philly cheesesteak with a lot of steak and a lot of cheese and a lot of Chipotle mayo and bacon.
Obviously. Can't go wrong.
And he was like, dude, that's the best thing I've ever had. And I'm like, I know. Like, That's the only thing I ever get. Like Jimmy John's is garbage. Like don't ever
Yeah,
order.
it's bad.
Like Ed Station's okay, but that Jersey Mike's Philly cheesesteak is S tier, top tier. Like
Dude, I think something I'm gonna do in the near future here is I'm gonna get the same sandwich from all the sandwich shops, whatever that may be. And I'm just gonna try them all, see which one I like. I'm gonna rank them,
that
and
makes
then maybe
a
I
good
eat,
video.
and then I eat all of it. I don't know. We'll see.
That would make a good video.
It would.
Ted, what's up, big dog? Thanks for liking the video. Not a whole lot, sir. We're sitting here vibing. We're getting towards the end of the show here. We're literally just talking about food at this point.
Yep.
So
Yep. Talk about. Just call me Carol Snackins, baby, because I be eating.
Carol Snackins.
I be eating.
But no, that 56. 2 thumbs up.
That might be Jersey Mike's. Might be a little something for tomorrow. Now you're talking my language here,
Dude. I'm telling you right now, if you just go get you call whatever Jersey Mike's is closest to you, you get a 56, no onion, extra meat, extra cheese, add bacon, and the 99 sauce. I'm telling you right now, you will not be disappointed. The only reason I don't get the onions is because they overdo it with the onions.
All right, I'll make you a deal. I'll get it. Just text me the order, and I'll order it tomorrow.
Okay, I can do that.
I'll try it.
So I like onions, but like it's just like whenever they do onions at Jersey Mike, they always do things over the top, and it's just like it's too much. Like I like onion, but I don't like that much onion.
I got you.
So if you like onions, I would suggest getting them. But like I'm not a huge fan of like that much onion.
It's fair. I'll try it. I mean,
so the 99 sauce is basically just the Chipotle mayo that they put on their sandwich that is numbered 99. I just happen to get the 56, but I want the 99 sauce.
That's fair.
And I have to shout out Rob Meter for that because Rob at Dirty Harry 85 _85 on Twitch. If you guys watch or play Call of Duty, he plays it, but he turned me on to the 99 sauce, and it has been a game changer. So big shout out to you, Rob.
Bobby, I just found out that Cooper's watching here, and I don't know about you, but I believe it's a school night. So, Cooper, go to fucking bed. Go to bed. You're about to be 18. You're about to be 18. You're an adult now. You need to start making better decisions. I can't even fucking say that with a straight face. That's ridiculous.
You can't.
He's way more mature than I am, and he's half my age.
He's also a better athlete, but we're not going to talk about that.
That's fair. He's a good athlete. Love you, kid. No, dude, send me the sandwich. I'll try it, and I'm gonna see. Here's the deal.
You know what? I came up to see you like 2 or 3 weekends ago, and you didn't even show me the videos of you having your food challenge, and I was.
I gotta send them to you.
Yeah, I didn't even get to see that shit. So Todd apparently ate 12,000 calories in a day.
10,000. 10,350. That's what the number ended up being.
10,000.
Just for my birthday. Yeah,
it was for your birthday. So, yeah, I didn't even need to see it. Happy belated birthday, bitch. But no, Ted, please send me those. Please send me those pics of you fishing. Let me know what you got, man.
All right, let me find these things. I'll get it all together for you here.
Ted, I'm not the greatest fisherman, although I do enjoy fishing. Maybe it's because I'm not the most patient person on the planet, but I do enjoy catching some fish. That is for sure. But yeah, please, Todd, send me those videos. I would definitely like to see it. Ted said he got blue cats. I sent him. Okay, let me take a look.
Nice.
All right, I'm waiting. I'll see shit. Come on, Ted. You got me. Yeah, I'm trying to think of what kind of food challenge I can do, Todd. I'm trying to think of just something that I can just eat an exorbitant amount of.
You got to find your lane, dude. You got to find your lane. Mine's Skyline. I can hammer Skyline, right? So I know that if I have a fail, and then I also can eat a lot of Taco Bell soft tacos, right? So I can those like party packs. It's like 20. That's not a problem. I can eat 20 of those without even thinking about it.
Oh, there it is.
And then ice cream. They're long, so you got to be prepared for that.
Oh yeah, hell yeah, Ted, dude, that's awesome, man.
Yeah,
and these are not some small fish either, dude. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Should be 6 videos. I sent you.
So this is the collection of fish that Ted said that Ted just caught.
Damn.
If you can see that, those things are not small. Those are on the bed of a truck. And for those of you that don't know how big the bed, like tailgate of a truck is, that is at least 12 to 14 inches of fish.
Yeah, those are big.
Those are not small. Those are not small fish, dude. Well done.
Big old bottom feeders.
Well done, sir. That's fucking awesome. That's fucking incredible, dude.
Here's the thing, Bobby. If you're gonna try it, don't do it.
This is what I have of Todd. I just have him in glasses and it's loading.
Well, I told you they're long videos. There's some of them are like 10 minutes.
It's gonna take a minute for that message to load. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's gonna take a while. Here's the thing. Don't do something that you really like first, that you try to eat a lot of, because then you're going to turn yourself off of it for a long time. You just got to find something that you know that you could hammer and just see where it takes you. It's all about finding your limit, dude. Because you're 9 times out of 10, the mental limit is greater than the physical limit when it comes to eating.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
There's something in your brain that tells you to stop eating, but your stomach can still expand some. Now you can meet your ceiling, and that gets pretty scary. And then maybe you throw up, but then you know not to do it again. Then you know your limit.
Yeah. Honestly, I think like the thing that I can really absolutely hammer is kind of what we just talked about, like those Jersey Mike subs. Like, I ate that entire thing with double meat, like double cheese, bacon, like all that, like, and I crushed that. And I could have done like 2 more of those.
I was gonna say, just get 2 next time. See if you can do 2.
No, I've done a giant. I can do a giant, which is basically like double the size. Like, I think I can do more than a giant.
Yeah, then get 2 giants. See where it takes you.
2 giants. Oh my god, that would be incredible. That'd be such a great day of eating. I don't know, Chad. We might have to have a mukbang. Just try it. Might have to just try it.
That's what you got to do. You got to just all you have to do, whatever you think your limit is, just add an extra piece on top of it, and then you just see what happens. That's honestly, dude, that's how I've figured out where like my baseline and like what my max at is. Like I'm already eating 3,500 calories a day at a bare minimum, no matter what. Right. So
that's
like
done.
to get to 5,000. Yeah. Well, I'm 260 pounds. I lift for 90 minutes to 2 hours a day. I need 3,500 calories and 270 grams of protein every day. I know those are my 2 things that I have to get to. So to get to 5,000, because that's how I started. It was like I got to 5,000, no problem, right? And then you go to like 7,500. 7,500 is another meal, right? Because 5,000 is like a snack. That's
Probably.
Like,
yeah. These Jersey Mike subs, the 56. Saying.
Yeah, you got to do it in stages. So like now, my next step is I'm going to try 12,000. That'll be the next one.
Oh, I'm excited to see that.
Yeah, I got to plan that out better though. The donuts, although the donuts take up the most calories, that fucking sucked because I had to get up super early to try to eat them, and it's the sugar that was like I was mentally like fine. I physically could not swallow. I had it because you'll see that I had to do it in two parts. So I did 16 or 15, and then I did 9. That's 2 dozen. Yeah, I did 15 and then I did 9. When I got to number 12, I physically would have to like I couldn't close my throat anymore because there was so much sugar that was like in my body. It was making me like
You're like,
panic.
no, your body's like, nah, dude. Like we're done.
I was physically panicking as I was trying to, and I also thought they were going to be warm, and they weren't, and that really fucked my psyche up. Because the warm ones, that's no problem.
Yeah,
right?
those go down like butter.
I did it where I thought like, 6 a.m. pickup, 6:30 pickup or whatever. I'll have the freshest donuts. Nope, they were last night's donuts.
Ooh.
Yeah. Yeah, really messed me up. But then for the last ones I did, I put them in the microwave. Gone. Down, no problem. So I should have done that from the jump, but I was trying to like see what my baseline
took
was.
their quality for granted.
Yes. Well, what my expectation was and what I received were not the same. And I tried to like balance it. And I was trying to balance it out with some black coffee too, right? To like try to get some acidity to kind of cancel out the sugar. And at the end of the first 15, I was like, the coffee was getting the donut down. So, but you'll see, I ate like 6 cheese conies and a couple of Cholitos in like 4 minutes. It's wild.
That's impressive.
Yeah, we did it in the restaurant.
So Cholitos with spaghetti?
Yes. Yep.
Ooh,
with spaghetti. With spaghetti, sour cream, and extra
calories.
Spaghetti, sour cream, and extra cheese.
Damn. Just putting them down.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, it was a treat, dude. If you want, I mean, look, if you got some free time and you want to split that thing together, that's probably a 15-minute video with some editing.
Don't give me like, yeah, I can do that.
That's an easy one. You can because I was a little camera shy at first. Be honest with you, because
I was shocked by that, especially when you're in front of food. You're not exactly like.
I'm not shy in front of food, but I'm shy in front of a camera watching me eat said food.
Okay, that's fair.
But by the end of the night, I'm so fucked up from eating so much that I'm fine.
You're so high on food, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, and I got to finish with a pint of Ben and Jerry's ice cream. So I was in a good spot.
Hell yeah!
And I ate the next day at like 12:30.
You're an animal.
Yeah,
an absolute animal. All right, chat. We're gonna wrap it up there. We're gonna be back live next week, Thursday evening, NFL draft. It's going to be our biggest show of the year. Please make sure that you guys tune in. It's going to be such a great time. We'll make sure that we share it on all the regular outlets. But for those of you that stopped by tonight, we appreciate you guys. Thanks for listening to us just kind of ramble and talk about whatever. We'll be back next week live for the NFL draft. Like I said, we're looking forward to it. It's our favorite show of the year. And we will catch you guys then. But until then, have a wonderful weekend. Be safe. We'll see you guys on Thursday. Peace.